We have Nevada Moreno here, went to Leesville Road High School and later NC State. And congratulations on being inducted into the North Carolina High School Track and Field and Cross Country Hall of Fame. And she said something about, I'm so young, and getting inducted into the Hall of Fame makes me think about older people. And it's like, yeah, but your accomplishments were so incredible. Talk about that. One of the accomplishments were indoor mile national champion. And the picture that I have, and it's on your plaque, you're this huge smile coming across the line. What's going through your mind at a time like that?
That was probably the huge turning point in my career, I guess. That was before, I think I won that wearing sprint spikes. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know when to watch. I would go to practice, and my coach at the time, Coach Canada, was an incredible coach. He'd run the 400, so I'd be running 50s in practice and stuff. But I think my body responded really well to it. But that was just such a fun meet. It kind of turned into, oh, I hope I don't get last, to hearing the bell ring and being I don't know. I mean, it was crazy because I think Danny Jones ran in the heat before us and ran 4:43 or something. And she was in the not even the top heat. I don't know how that happened, but I was like, oh my goodness, the second heat is running 4:40 something. I'm going to get last. And I was just so nervous. And the next thing you know, and the bell's ringing and I'm right there. And I think that was just a huge moment for me to realize my potential.
Talk about the U.S. junior team. That's a big deal to make any U.S. team, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're young. It's the first time that you put on the U.S. uniform, and then you go overseas to compete. Can you talk about your experience and what was going through your heart and your mind?
Yeah, that was a really special one too. Just feeling all the highs of finishing the Foot Locker race, and you could feel like nothing could be better, and then they come up to you and ask if you want to go wear United States jersey and travel internationally with all these other runners that you really respect and look up to. That was just such a great opportunity, and I think that is what really made me make the most of it and get that last few ounces of energy that I had left out, because Foot Locker is December 11th. They say, actually, you're going to race January 4th. You think your season's over, and add all these extra weeks of training through Christmas and stuff, but there's nothing that's more motivating than knowing that's what you're still training for. It was such a special experience.
Talking about Foot Locker, you mentioned that you were third one year and runner-up, so you were two-time Foot Locker All-American, and at the time, I think Nike was just coming on, so the Foot Locker was, everybody was doing that. If you were an individual, you did Foot Locker.
Yeah.
Talk about that experience too, because I know they treat the athletes really well there.
Yeah, no, I was just talking about it. I came back here and I was trying to remember some of my races. This was such a great opportunity to I have not really reflected much on my high school career. It's just so much has happened since, and a lot of injuries and stuff. But to come back and try to reflect on some of my races here, and the one thing that's the clearest in my mind is walking through the hallways of the Hotel Del, just in awe. I'd never seen anything like it before. Just being on the West Coast was so special, and there's been no ever race that's ever lived up to. It felt like a queen.
Talk about your sub 10 3200. I believe it's still the all-time North Carolina best, 9:56, I believe.
Yeah.
What went into that? What into as far as the training? I've read some articles about your senior year too and how that went, but talk about that race specifically.
Yeah, at that point, a lot of my training was actually coming from Mr. Frazier, whose daughters were inducted last year, and he actually was the one that was I know your team maybe wants to go to Nike, but I'm telling you, Foot Locker is you need to experience this if you can. But yeah, that race, I think I was actually a race against Wayne Colati, and it was to the picture photo finish at the line. And it was just kind of an overwhelming. New Balance Nationals weekend is always a lot. It's you have more multiple races on the schedule and stuff. That was the first race I've ever finished where I finished it, and I went to crouch down afterwards, and I tried to stand up, and my legs, I fell over. I've never that was all out gassed. But I still really that was again a moment where I've never experienced it since and had it before. Just being really proud of myself, because clearly that was everything I had. So
yeah, a lot of athletes, you always wonder, do they have anything left? And then
Yeah.
Yeah. And then jumping into college, you ran at NC State, and one highlight, I mean, I know you had several, but one highlight is running on NC State's national championship cross country team, and with Coach Hennes. And so talk about that a little bit, because I think that was the first of three or the second of three. I can't remember that the NC State won.
Yeah, the second. Yeah.
Second of three.
Yeah, that one. In college was a couple surgeries, a lot of crutching around, a couple casts, but that program had given so much to me, and just so inspiring training with those girls every day, and just seeing what goes in and out of people that are becoming national champions, and just like so inspiring being around them. And I finally got to the cross country starting line somewhat healthy. I did actually have to get surgery after that, but healthy enough to race. And I was just so excited to finally be able to like give anything back to the program that gave so much to me. So that was such a fun moment, getting to lift the trophy above my head with my teammates.
And if the last question, if a girl or a guy came up to you and said, Nevada, what do I do? What do I need to do? Because I know you've talked about your injuries, or you've kind of briefly mentioned them, but what do I need to do to be successful in this sport?
Yeah, I think that I've had, in high school I had 4 or 5 coaches. Like even my dad coached me for a little bit, so got like a taste of a lot of different training, a lot of different approaches and mindsets, and so I got to learn so much. And just to put it all together, I think the main thing at the end of the day that was most important to me was just listening to the voice in my head. Like it's just like saying, looking back and trying to imagine myself in those races at the time, it feels like I'm like watching it from a different perspective. I don't feel like, I don't know, it just seems like I was just a little girl out there giving everything that I had. Just really like honor how you're feeling. If you need to take a break, take a break. Like, I feel like every kid that's out there wants to give everything that they have. So just never question that, if your body's telling you need to take a rest, like it means you do. And just enjoy every moment. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for being here today. And again, congratulations on being inducted into the North Carolina High School Track and Field and Cross Country Hall of Fame. Nevada Moreno had such an incredible career, and so we're honored to honor you today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right.